the tournament today actually has set up teams who are, in terms of their regulation, they must be mixed between local South Africans and foreigners and refugees. So that I think the idea is that if people play sport together, they will be less likely to react negatively when these kind of things happen in the future. And I think that's the power of sport, that if people work together, if they play together in a team with other people in the area, they're more likely to understand each other as human beings and less likely, to fall victim to that kind of prejudice.
Our own first team is made up of many different nations, players from many different nations, and we have to make that message clear of the unity for all. That's what we call our project, the unity for all, because treating human beings with dignity is so important, and not judging people by the colour of their skin or their background or culture upbringing is a message that needs to be enforced, and football should do that.
We are in a very different atmosphere today. There will be 8 teams of people who've worked together since then in the last 2 years from different ethnic groups, different countries. Some people are refugees, some people are immigrants, some people are foreigners, and they will all be playing together, celebrating football and celebrating solidarity and working together, which is our two big values for both Oxfam and LFC.
This tournament was organised in celebration of the eclectic mix of nationalities and ethnicities in this country, and in a World Cup year, football was seen as the perfect platform to base the event around.
There's always been a lot of xenophobic attacks prior to last years, so we thought as much that if we get people together, like in games, play games, we can at least tell people that xenophobia doesn't play any importance in the community. We need to be people, we need to unite, we need to be one. We, as much as we are from different walks of life, I'm from Uganda myself, you are from England, he's from Zambia, but we are all here for one common goal as Africans, as people of the world.
Football largely, if you look at it, it's one sport that unifies and unites people across the spectrum. For instance, we have legends from this town, like the former football player Patrick Eisintweleng, who also used to play for international teams. And now this town largely is more of people who love sport, and sports have united this town more than ever. So we have a combination of people, black and white, playing soccer, and even people from other countries. So that's why we love sport.
Liverpool's presence was certainly welcomed and did the job of highlighting further the importance of togetherness amongst all those who live in South Africa.
What we're expecting today actually is just our presence here to highlight the whole, in my opinion, the whole evil of xenophobia, and that's a real issue in this culture, and trying to explain to people how racism in any form, prejudice of any form, is wrong. Of course, that fits in with our social inclusion project, which we do in Liverpool. And the very fact that we have so many players from different nations playing in one team is a great message to say. It's to say, look, although there are many nations on the earth, there's only one race.
Social inclusion is obviously something the club itself feels very strongly about and has provisions in place to strengthen communities in Liverpool. For this reason, the organisers of this tournament were keen to have the Reds on board.
We're quite interested in the program that Liverpool is actually engaged in back home in your country around strengthening your involvement and development in local communities. And this is what we try and hear through this program. So we wanted to use sport and a range of other types of activities to engage our communities and to show that we, even though we have different nationalities or we might be different in terms of our religion and our colour, etc., but we're basically all the same.
There was certainly an admirable spirit throughout the whole tournament. Zulu dancers, amongst others, fired up the crowd. And from singing and dancing to taking on the managers from the teams involved in the tournament, we threw ourselves into the whole occasion.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant event. Obviously, they're hitting a really important point. Obviously, fighting xenophobia, which is a huge deal over here. So again, if we can play any part in, being useful in that, trying to raise the morale of people around here, and again supporting the organisations who are doing a fantastic job.
The event's fantastic to see so many people here. Obviously, the older lads are playing, the younger boys, will come to speak to us and we have a chat with them. But again, it's just a brilliant event, and it's great to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's getting that message across that when we do act as one, we can make a difference. So yeah, it's been great.
You can never underestimate Liverpool Football Club's influence all over the globe, and a rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone with the supporters summed up the feeling of the day.